back this way. I got you Reno rigged. I swear it.
There he is. So this week I thought it would be fun to talk about the show my dad had the most fun with, and that would be Renegade. I say that because he didn't only write, produce, and create Renegade, but he also got a chance to act in it. In the show, he played Donald Dutch Dixon, which was Renegade's resident bad guy. In this clip, he's going to talk about what it was like to create the show, bond with the castmates, and playing cops and robbers on set. Was that what you were doing at work, Dad?
The Lone Ranger rides into town. There's trouble in River City. He cleans up the town and rides away, and people said, "Who was that masked man?" What I wanted Renegade to be was a Western. The Western has died on American television. We have Deadwood now, but it's on cable. But basically, there used to be so many Westerns on television, and they died out. And the reason I think they died out was that Westerns are morality plays. They're all about good and evil. And we live in a world full of grays. You know, there are half good guys. I mean, NYPD Blue is about a cop. Dennis Franz plays a cop who's got some black spots in him, you know, and doesn't always behave exactly the way. And we've come to appreciate the dramatics of the grays, writing the grays, and that sort of obviated the Western. It made the Western sort of seem corny and old-fashioned and not something you know. So I thought, how do I? And I never got a chance to write a Western. So how do I write a Western? So I thought, well, I'll write a Western in a contemporary setting. So if you break Renegade down, you'll see how simple it was. He's a renegade, which is a Western term. He's wanted by the police. He's a fugitive, an old Western theme. He's a bounty hunter, old Western job. His best friend, an Indian, Bobby Six Killer, who runs a bounty hunting service. What's his horse? Motorcycle. What is the storytelling technique? The Lone Ranger rides into town. There's trouble in River City. He cleans up the town and rides away, and people says, "Who was that masked man?" And so then I needed to cast it, and I didn't have to go to the network. I didn't have to ask the network. The distributor loved Lorenzo, so I picked up the phone. I called Lorenzo. I said, "Can you come in, just have a meeting with me?" So he comes in, and I said, "Look, you and I have been going around this casting thing for a while." I said, "I'm just willing to give you a show if you're willing to do it." And I told him what it was about. And he just loved it. And I said, "You want to play that guy?" And he was, "Absolutely." So I hired him right in my office. No audition, nothing. And Branscombe Richmond played Bobby Six Killer, and you know, he was just amazing. Kathleen Kinmont at the time was Lorenzo's wife. And he says to me one day at lunch, he said, "Listen, you know, if there's something like you could put in the picture for my wife Kathleen, who I didn't know." And I said, "Okay, sure," you know, and I had a meeting with Kathleen and everything. And so I thought, well, I'll give Bobby Six Killer a sister. And Kathleen is this beautiful blonde. I couldn't have been any luckier because she just turned out to be a marvelous actress, beautiful on screen, a beautiful person. The three of us had so much fun, you know, or the four of us with Branscombe, you know, doing that show. And then I got the part of Dutch Dixon, and that was kind of funny how that happened because I had been acting in other people's movies, friends of mine movies, and I'd get like 2 acting jobs a year, and I just thought I was awful in them. I'd look at these things when you know, I'd go to the premieres and I go, "Oh, wow," well, you know. But I kept getting jobs, you know, because my friends would hire me. And they're mostly actors like Mario Van Peebles and Melvin Van Peebles, his dad, and Bob Conrad hired me and things. Tom Selleck put me in a Magnum. You know, it's just like I kept getting these acting jobs, and I didn't think I was very good at them. But I had a lot of fun doing them. And when I was doing them, I thought I was really great, you know, but then I'd see them and I was always overacting. I was too big, you know. It's like, so we're trying to cast the Dutch Dixon part, and we'd had like 10 or 15 people come in, and the distributor didn't like any of them. And Lorenzo said, "Why don't you play it, Steve?" And I said, "Lorenzo, have you seen some of this stuff I've been doing?" It's pretty shaky. And he goes, "No, you know what your problem is?" He says, "You just never get the rust off." He said, "You do 1 or 2 jobs a year." You know, he said, "Come down, we'll have a lot of fun." So I took the part. The distributor said, "I'll sign off on that if you want to do it." So I took the part, and for 5 years I got the joy of being Dutch Dixon. I chased Lorenzo and put bullets in him. I was the evil cop that had set him up for the fugitive crime that he didn't commit. And it was fun. It was a fun time in my life. I got to go down there and play cops and robbers and work with people that became really, really close friends of mine, all of them.
Well, that's it for today, but be sure to come back next week. I'm really having a good time doing this, so we're going to check out some more clips and watch my dad's progression as an actor. We'll see you then.